Welcome everybody back to the Michael Talks Football channel. Today is a tier list video, but today is a very interesting topic. The potential level of all under 23 players around the world. I'm only going to go by the transfer market value of the under 23 players. The top 30 players in the under 23 transfer market value. That's what we're going with. So guys, get your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And remember to also follow my compatriot for today. I had to bring a guy who can be negative, can be positive. I would like to say that my guest is like Hollywood Rock. The Rock has his Disney character, and then there was Hollywood Rock. G, how are you doing?
But this is going to be a good topic, and I'm intrigued more from what the comment section will say about where we place them. I want to know where everyone's head is at with some of these players.
Yeah, and obviously, people, it's very early on in their careers. They could obviously flop. Look at Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati was destined to be a world-class, even Ballon d'Or winner at 18. Now he's not even making the bench for Barcelona. So anything can change, but this is what we have seen so far. So let's get to the potential level, and now you guys will see the tier list. So, number one, Ballon d'Or winner. Obviously, it's not necessarily that they're going to win the Ballon d'Or, but they're that sort of level, a world-class Kaká, Messi, Ronaldo Nazario, all of these players that have won the Ballon d'Or in the past. Then we got world-class player. Obviously, you guys know by that. Good average player. You know, they're going to have a good career. Then we're going to go to overhyped, where, I mean, we see nothing from these guys. Maybe they have some level that is good, but we think they're overly hyped. And then destined for failure. And I think we'll get some players there, no doubt about it. So you guys can see the players. Get your thoughts in the comments down below. And we're going to obviously start with Michael Olise, a very interesting player because I think he's destined to have a very good career. But is he going to be reaching that world-class level, or will he just be, you know, a good player who played at Crystal Palace, Bayern Munich, wherever he goes after Bayern Munich? Will he return to the Premier League? Will he go to La Liga? I'm intrigued. I think he shows the level of being a world-class player. Is it just that can he consistently do it on a regular basis? I think he's talented as heck. I think he's got the potential. I think he's shown it a couple times for Crystal Palace, also for Bayern Munich.
Closer to good average than world class. I agree with what you're saying, and everyone knows I love Michael Olise. I wanted him at my club. The problem is, I just think that I don't think he'll ever reach that level consistently enough in the future. I feel like he might have a one season where you're like, oh my goodness, Olise is world class. He's this, that, and the third. I just don't know if he's gonna be able to keep up. If we're looking at everyone else on this list, there are others who I'm like, nah, I feel like they've already shown, or they will be just world-class players. Olise is, I'm struggling a bit with him. I'm like, I think you will be a world-class player, but I'm also sitting there thinking, I don't know, you might just be one of those players who were, no, he was really, really good. You know, those players you just think about back in the day, you're like, no, he was really good. But would I say world-class? Nah, not really. Like, he just played for a good team, Bayern Munich, for example. I wouldn't call him world-class. So, for now, I'm going to put him in good average. But you said, by Michael's words, Michael said he will have a good means, having a good career. Like, you know what I mean? And to me, I feel like that's what he will have. He'll win trophies, but I just don't know if he'll reach world-class level.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Olise is really on that buffer between good and world-class. I don't think he's an average player. I think he's going to be an exceptional player. But like you said, is it going to be for one season, or is it going to be 5 seasons in a row where you're like, no, certified world-class. He can be in the top 10 players in the world. Definitely got the talent, but we'll see what Michael Olise's career will take off. Next, Gabriel Martinelli. I'm just going to put him right here, bro. I don't even care what anybody says. I think this guy... Honestly, look, he's shown you one good season with Arsenal, and maybe he just needs to move away from Arsenal, or maybe just a new environment. But I feel like he just doesn't have a lot to his game. 2 seasons ago, when the Arsenal were the first season challenging for the title, you're like, whoa, Martinelli, Saka, these guys are going to be unbelievable. Since then, Martinelli has definitely taken a dip, and I think he's overhyped. I don't think he would start for many teams in this world. I think he's not really fortunate to be at Arsenal because he's proven himself, but I think Arsenal can definitely improve on him.
Okay, let me ask you this, just so I know and the people know watching this. Destined for failure. What's your definition of that? Like, what does that mean?
That in 2 years, he'll be in the Austrian Bundesliga.
Oh, okay. I don't think he'll be there. Okay. In my head, I was thinking slyly, I would have had him for destined for failure. But if that's what it means, then nah. Just because
I don't
everything.
think. Look, I think Martinelli could go to a mid-table team in La Liga and do decently well.
But think about where he's coming from, though. If he's coming from Arsenal to then drop, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if you're dropping down to a mid-table team anywhere in the top 5 leagues when you've played for a team who's at the top, I don't know. Like, remember, he was already at a mid-table team in Arsenal, or they were shit when he kind of joined the team and made it into the team. So then he's gotten better to then drop down again. I'll keep him overhyped. Yeah, we'll keep him there. That's cool.
But do you think he has the talent to overcome it and then get to maybe a good average player for the rest of his career? Because obviously the last 2 seasons, I think he's been really struggling.
Yeah, but I think he may need to just change position though. Like, I potentially feel like he could actually potentially play as a number 10 or through the middle for someone else, not for Arsenal. The only reason why I say that is when you look at someone with his type of attributes, obviously he's really, really quick. He can get in behind when he needs to. I feel like when you're giving him all of this, like these jobs to do, okay, I need you to go down the wing. I need you to beat your man. And if you can't beat your man, I need to cut back inside. I need you to maybe able to play 1-2. I feel like if he just played in a position with a bit more freedom, where he's not really tasked with doing any defensive work, you're just telling him to play off of a striker, whoever that, like, as an example, like if you played off of a Haaland, like Marmoush is doing at the moment, where you don't need to do too much in those attacking areas. But guess what? You run beyond me, though. I'll drop deep. You just run beyond me. That's all I need you to do. I feel like it can work for him because everything else about his game is a bit basic. So I'm like, okay, just get him where he's just running on. He'll be a good to average player at best, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he's got any talent level to get to the world-class level. Next up is Zaïre-Emery. I kind of feel like we haven't seen much of him. This warranting to say, like, okay, is he going to be a world-class player? I think he could be a good player. I don't think he's overhyped. You're clearly starting for PSG in Champions League games. You're still unbeaten with Ligue 1. You've obviously played for the French national team. Clearly, you are a very talented player. And I think he's got good attributes to his game. Very technical, can go box to box. Do I feel like he can get to a world-class level? Possibly. I don't think he's overhyped or destined for failure. I would probably put him a good to average player.
Yeah, no. It's the same because unlike other names on this list that we're going to get to, he's not showing world-class Ballon d'Or talent right now. But what he is showing is, you know what? He might just be one of those players that in 5 years' time, we're just going to look at him and think, this guy has been bloody consistent. Like, he's not looked below any level of good. Like, he'll just be good for ages. Then he'll turn into Pirlo at the age of like 29, where he just becomes world-class Ballon d'Or level for like 5 years, and then he'll just retire. And then it'll just be one of those things. I think he'll be that type of player in the future because he's not flashy. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not one of those kind of players, but all the ability that he's got at the moment, go to the right team next, he'll take that next step.
Stay at PSG and keep balling up, bro, because PSG are playing good football. So, G, you're going to take this next one because you are a Barcelona simp. Where on earth does Gavi go on this list?
I would like him to be in the world-class level, but at the moment, he's got world-class talent, but you're so unfit and constantly injured. I don't know if you'll ever be able to really reach that level at this moment in time. He's got the ability, like we say with all of the youngsters these days. Oh, they've got all the talent in the world. But as good as I think Gavi is, I've honestly, I think he's such a fantastic player. For me, world class is like the high echelons, and Ballon d'Or even higher than that. I'll put him in the same bracket as Zaïre-Emery and the.
Well, couldn't you make the same? Couldn't you make the same argument for Pedri? Pedri was always injured. You were like, oh man, is he really going to be consistently healthy? That he's going to be able to show his talent? Now we'll do to Pedri in a second, but couldn't it be the same argument for Gavi?
Yeah, no, I think they're both the same. I think it's difficult because obviously we're doing under 23s, isn't it? So some of these guys are so young, but they've been playing for time though. So I'm almost like, I'm trying to remember, oh shit, but they're still under the age of 23, but they've been playing for like 3-4 seasons, you know, at like, or 2-3 seasons at the top level, Champions League, Spain, and all of this stuff. I just think right now, Pedri and Gavi are in the same bracket. They've got world-class talent. They easily can become world-class players. You can see that. But I just need to see consistency. I need to see 2 seasons. And at the moment, they've never done that. They've had 1 season, really, really good. Then the next season, it's always they're injured. Come back a bit, injured. Then the next season after that, they will show obviously what they're about. But then they got injuries. Gavi's just come back from injury like a few months ago. Pedri, it's too much. I need 2 full seasons, no major injuries. Then I'll put them in the world-class talent. But they have got the ability.
Okay, we'll go with that. I think Gavi, for me, I think he's world-class level from what I've seen of him so far at Barcelona. Now, of course, I just want to see how do you really go on for a full season? Can you really solidify yourself into the Barcelona midfield? Now, I think in the future, I think he can definitely do that. And the dude is talented. Even on the ball, fantastic. Off the ball, work rate is elite for Gavi, but we need to see it consistently more. But talent-wise, he can definitely get to the world class.
Yeah.
Oh, Bellingham. Bellingham is a man who divides opinions a lot, like he's Donald Trump or something, which is ridiculous to me. But Bellingham, for me, G, I think he'd go here. That's just me, right? I love the player. I think he's an awesome midfielder. You play him in the 6, the 8, the 10. If there's a 12th position, he would play there and he would excel at it. I don't know why this guy gets so much hate. I don't. Maybe because maybe he's arrogant. Maybe he's like that celebration he had at the Euros where he was showing his like cojones to the fans. I was like, hey, you know what? We need these sort of characters in football. Now, over the weekend, he's cussing out the referee. We don't know what happened in that situation. But if you actually just watch the player, and I see a lot of people, and I actually did a poll on my channel where who's going to be the most talented player and who will have the best career. And everybody in the comments was like, oh, Bellingham's a fraud. Oh, this guy, he's not that highly rated. Look, everybody has their own opinion of a player, right? I'm not going to bash anybody. But for me, I just see Bellingham do so much for his team, and on the ball is really good. Now, is he a passer like a Pedri or Pirlo? He's not that sort of midfielder. Box to box, and if the game needs Bellingham, he'll take it. So I think he can win a Ballon d'Or in the future. I think he's got Ballon d'Or talent. Bro, look at his career so far. What he's done at like 21 or 20 years old, however old he is. I think the dude is just going to be elite, and we're still going to see it for 10 years. He's destined to win Ballon d'Or for me, and that he's at that level. Now, what does G say?
Now, talent-wise, Gavi's more talented than Bellingham. But when we're looking at the actual position of both players, what they actually do, Bellingham has a bigger effect on Real Madrid than Gavi does on Barcelona in terms of Bellingham's, and I know they're kind of different positions, obviously, but you can see that Bellingham is literally just a match winner for these guys. Like, the guy has gone there, which are what I have to rate him for. How can you go to Real Madrid from Birmingham, fucking Birmingham, no disrespect to my Birmingham people, from Birmingham to Dortmund to Real Madrid, and you've gone there as if you're the top dog. And you're not even like, you haven't even been playing football for like 15 years where we're like, oh yeah, but this is Jude Bellingham, we've got to respect. The guy's been playing football for about 5-6 seasons, like, consistently. And he came to Real Madrid as if I'm the boss. Like, I'm the guy. Like, you need to pass me the ball. I'm going to win the game for Real Madrid. Forget Vinny. Forget even Mbappe this season, even though he's obviously done his thing. I'm going to help win the game. I'm going to chat shit to the referees. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows who I am on the pitch. That's what I rate Bellingham about. And I agree. I think he's close to winning a Ballon d'Or. I think if Real Madrid were to even win La Liga this season and the Champions League, like alongside maybe other players, he probably would be one of the players you look at and think he might have to get spoken about for Ballon d'Or. I think he's closer to that level right now.
So do you think he's at that level, though? Would you say, like, in 20 years' time, you're going to tell your kids, do you see Jude Bellingham? That guy was a baller. Would you say that to your kids?
Yes, I think I would. Okay. No, I think I would. But it's almost... I'll be honest here, and listen, I'm not trying to start a war with anybody. It's almost like the Zidane thing. Like, they're not really my type of players in terms of the players I like to see. Like, I didn't watch them and think, yeah, I like what he does. I'm more like, but I just feel like what he does is very effective for what needs to happen. And that's the same way I look at Jude Bellingham. I'm like, you're not my type of player, the other guys are, but I'm biased towards Barcelona, so I prefer that style. So when I watch Bellingham, I'm like, you don't do anything outstanding, but you're so good at everything. Like, you are good. You've got an engine. You can do box to box. You can play in the number 10. You can play as a false 9. Heck, you can play in a deeper role if you need to. So really, I should rate that, or I should like that. But I like the technical kind of side, and I feel like he lacks in that kind of area in comparison to players like a Pedri or a Gavi, or even actually a Zaïre-Emery, who I think are all technically better than a Jude Bellingham. But Jude has the full package. They don't have that. They're really good at this, but they're so average at everything else. He's actually good at everything. That's why he's going to be above these guys at this moment in time. So you can put him there, Ballon d'Or. I'm not going to fight you on that one.
So Bellingham is Bellingham is the Big Mac meal, and everybody else is just a happy meal. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. But right now, yes, I have to agree. He is.
I think I love the player. I think he's an unbelievable footballer. So we'll see what happens in the future. I think he's destined to win a Ballon d'Or. And when we see in 30 years to 40 years time, that montage is going to hit like crack, bro. Look at the montage already. And we still got 10 years to go.
No, but okay, Mike, sorry, just before I don't want to keep you too long, but just before when you think about it, there's a reason why people don't rate it. And I don't actually think it's got anything to do with the arrogance or anything. Like, I just think his style of play is done in a way which you have your preference. So you're either going to like it. It's a bit like Marmite. You're either going to like it or don't like it. There is no in between. There is literally, his style of play is not like, he's not neat foot. Like, he's got neat footwork, but it's not silky at the same time. He can pass a ball, but he isn't the greatest apart. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a weird one with him. But I tell you now, he's good at everything. So
you know what Bellingham reminds me of? Nikola Jokic from the NBA.
Okay. Fair enough. Very unorthodox style, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Unorthodox, unathletic. This unbelievable basketball player.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Just said it. Yeah, it feels like he's unathletic, but I've seen him do box to box, like run from one end to the other end, and then get on the
bicycle kick goal at the Euros. William Saliba. I really like the defender. I think he's a beast of a defender. Now, we're always going to get on social media, oh my God, look at his last 10 one-on-one defending attempts. And it's like, oh, he got beat twice. He must be a shit defender. I'm like, really? Is this what we're doing with the discourse of football? I think he's going to be an unbelievable defender, because you don't really see like center backs at 22 be world class. I don't think we've ever seen that really in the history of football. At 25, though, this guy could dominate. Look at Van Dijk. Van Dijk wasn't amazing at 22. Was Cannavaro amazing at 22? No, but they got better as they obviously read the game more. They got more game intelligence. And I think Saliba, he's got the whole package. Very good on the ball, good defending, and he can just learn the experience. Maybe he has that experienced defender in Gabriel next to him, but when Saliba then becomes the leader, then you're going to see just a dynamite defender that nobody can get past. And for me, I think he's a world-class level player in the future.
Oh, yeah. I have him there as well. Yeah. I think right now, I would put him in you're very close to world class. Like, you are very close. You just maybe need one more season or something, and then you'll be there. But yeah, in the future, 100%. I agree.
100%. Moises Caicedo, where would you put him?
I just want to say, before we even put him there, guys, please big up Michael, because he was the reason why I even knew who Moises Caicedo was before he moved to Brighton in the first place. I think he's in. I can't lie. I feel like he's almost a world-class player, but if he's not, then he's just below that. He is just below that level of world class. Like, I promise you, people, watch Moises Caicedo. Don't worry about him last season. That was just Chelsea being shit. If you watch Caicedo this season, the guy is a beast in the middle of the park. Like a beast, like an actual beast. So he's good on the ball. He can pick out a pass. He reads the game.
I think potentially with his talent level, I think in the future he's going to be world class.
Yeah, no. That's a given. I'm trying to think where would I put him right now. But if you're saying future,
not right now. But like for the future, talent wise, I think he's going to be world class level. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Just so that people don't get it twisted, then you can put Gavi in that. He will be a future. I do think Gavi will be a world class talent, but Yeah,
I'll let you have that. I'll let you have that Barcelona simp one. I'll let you have that one for sure. But Moises Caicedo for me, look, I got the Ecuador kit on. I think he got into a tough situation at Chelsea, but every time I watch him for the Ecuador national team, he's by far the best midfielder. By far. Whether it's against Argentina, Brazil, at the Copa America, the dude just runs the show. And I think he just needs a better environment at Chelsea, and maybe he'll have a move in the future. Bro, he's going to excel. I think he's just such a good destroyer as a midfielder, but is also very good on the ball. That's a very underrated element of his game, is that how composed he is. Look, right now, maybe people could say, he's overhyped and this sort of stuff. I don't think so. I think he's just been in a difficult situation at Chelsea, but when he's in the right environment, dude will be a phenomenal midfielder, and for me, world-class level.
Yeah, I agree.
Levi Colwill. I cannot believe he's in the top 30 of the transfer market value. For me, bro, I can't lie. I don't see anything special. Right now, I don't see anything special. Now, obviously, it can change in the future, and hopefully Colwill will have a good career because, there is talent there. Obviously, we're going to say it again. All of these players are super talented. But what do we see for them in the future? Do we see a world-class player, a good average player? I feel like Levi Colwill will just be like, okay, you had a couple decent stints at Chelsea, but you never really flourished. And then you might go to like I don't know, whether West Brom get promoted back into the Premier League, you go to that club and you're like, okay, that's good. But you're at Chelsea. You're a Cobham lad. You should have been going for to being destined to be the best. I think he's overhyped. I just don't see a defender where he actually is a good defender. I think everybody's hyped over him because he's good on the ball, which of course is a very important element of your game nowadays for defenders. I think he's just overhyped. What do you think?
I actually think, by your definition, I think he's actually destined for failure. Because even the fact that you just said West Brom, like I was like, to be honest, that's okay. West Brom. I like Levi Colwill, but you have not shown me anything in the 2 seasons now that you've been at Chelsea. Like, I've tried to back you, and it's not working. You're gonna have to go to, okay, maybe not West Brom right now, but you're definitely gonna have to go to like a Brentford right now. Like, just go to Brentford, go there for a couple seasons, and then maybe work your way back up. But even then, I'm like, if you're gonna go there, you need to outperform the other guys. Otherwise, you'll just be a Brentford guy, and that might just be your career, which is fine. Listen, I would take being a Brentford player right now, but in terms for him, where he's been at, people are talking about him for England, left-sided centre-back as well, left-footed, potentially a left-back. I feel like this brother's destined for failure. I can't lie.
So what's happened to him? Is it just that it's a difficult environment at Chelsea, or do you think that he hasn't taken his talent level to the next level to say to yourself, okay, maybe in a good environment like a Moises Caicedo, we could see a good average player? Why wouldn't you say that for Colwill, and that he's just destined for failure?
I think it's a bit of both. I can't lie. I think the environment at Chelsea, with what Maresca even wants from his centre-backs, I actually just don't think he's been that comfortable in doing so. And the fact that he's had to play left-back and then left-sided centre-back, I feel like the chopping and changing, where you're not even necessarily always guaranteed, to potentially be a starter in that team. I just look at him and just think to myself, you're losing quite a lot of it's almost like your confidence level. Whereas I felt like Roberto De Zerbi gave him confidence with the way that he wanted his team to play out from the back. He almost trusted Colwill, you're the guy. I need you to be able to do this in order to get us ticking moving forward. I'm not saying you have to do that at Chelsea, but I don't feel like they have that same level of confidence with him doing so. So the game almost bypasses him. And then you can just see, I'm watching him the other day against whoever Chelsea, 3-0 against Brighton. When I watched him again, I was like, bro, come on, man. Like, forget even the foul, because that was just stupid from him. But he seems to do that, quite a lot anyway, where he puts himself, into these kind of situations where you're like, why did you even bother, doing so, doing something like that? You didn't need to. You didn't need to do that. I just feel like you're lacking confidence at the moment, and maybe Chelsea ain't the environment, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe it isn't. To be honest, I just haven't seen the talent level that people talk about with Colwill. That's just me. Now, it obviously can change in the next couple of years, and he could turn out to be a very good player, but I feel like it's going to be a rough career for him, where it should be, right? It should be starting for England and being a very good center back. You know what Colwill's career should be like? Gary Cahill's.
Yeah.
That's how his career should be like. I don't think he's going to be a Sean Terry or anything like that. I think he could be a Gary Cahill, and that's a very good career.
Yeah.
But it's not working out right now.
Gary Cahill, look how important he was for Chelsea, towards the end.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Right.
Then we go to Pau Cubarsí. Straight to world class, bro. For him as a defender. Now, people could say, "Oh man, it's those last ditch tackles because Hansi Flick is playing a crazy system, a crazy high line, and Cubarsí with his speed and his tackling ability is there." Now, how would Cubarsí do in a low block system? I think Cubarsí, you put him in any system in the world, this guy is going to flourish, and is unbelievable on the ball. He can find a pass through just the needle in a haystack. That's how good his passing is for Cubarsí, and overall, just a good defender. And he's going to sort of be a future leader. But you look at Araujo. Araujo looks like the 17-year-old, where Cubarsí looks like a 25-year-old who's played Champions League and La Liga for many years. For me, I think he's destined to be world-class level. Now, obviously, could he get to that Ballon d'Or sort of level of winning it and being a GOAT of an icon of football? That's maybe we have to wait and see more of Cubarsí for the next couple of seasons. But right now, he's destined to be a world-class level player.
Yeah, he's the defender that City should have been trying to sign. He's literally the perfect City defender.
Yeah. Get 300 million on the table.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like, if City if he was cheaper or whatever, that's the centre back. He's someone who can play in a high line. He can play in a low block. He can bring the ball out. He can pass. As you said, he can literally do exactly what City need in their centre backs, because they're all crying out for a centre back just to be able to do exactly what he can do: cover ground, reads the game well, can cover space really, really. Like, that is literally what Pep Guardiola would need right now, because his other centre backs are just looking a bit shoddy. He is a world-class, talented individual. And the guy's, 18, I think? I'm sure he's only 18?
17, 18, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Like, we're talking about Saliba, and we're saying, right, this guy's only, 22, and look at the level he's at. I'm sorry, but Cubarsy's not even that far off of Saliba, in my opinion. And Saliba's been doing this for about 3 seasons. That's all Cubarsí probably needs, is give him a couple more seasons. He'll probably be at that level anyway. Do you know what I mean? So let's see. If Barcelona can get back to being the old school Barcelona in terms of just winning things consistently, he'll be in that conversation. He'll be in that convo.
Yep, he'll definitely be in that conversation. So what do you think then of Kobbie Mainoo? This is an interesting one, because I think he's got a very talented package, right? Comfortable on the ball. Maybe not athleticism is there, but the dude, you could just see. That goal he scored against Wolves last season, where it was like the last minute and he curled into the top right corner. I was like, whoa, okay, Man United, fair enough. I see a player there. Now, this season, of course, hasn't been the greatest, but I feel like he's got the talent to be a good average player. Could he get to the world-class level? Could he get to the Gavi level? Possibly. I think we need to see more, and I think we need to see him in also a good environment, right? Man United is a mess. We all know that. We don't need to go in a deep dive into it. But just on the talent level, I think the guy can be a good average player. I see more from Kobbie Mainoo compared to Martinelli and Colwill. That's just me, people. Let me know your thoughts. Right now, I can't put him at world-class level because I just need to see him do it up against the best in the world. I need to see him do it in the Champions League and obviously challenging for a Premier League title. For now, for me, I think he's a good average player for the future.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needs to leave Manchester United. You're not going to thrive there right now. That's not the place to be. So once he does that, then yeah, I think he can go on to do better things. But right now at Manchester United, as you said, yeah, they're just a mess. So yeah, good average player. Yep,
good. Micky van de Ven, is he also going to be a good average player? I just don't think he will get to that world-class level. Obviously, he's so reliant on his speed for his game that what is he going to be like at 30 years old? What is he going to be then? Because the dude is making crazy last-ditch tackles because of Ange's crazy style of football. I think Van de Ven, good average player. I don't really see people like hyping him up and being like, oh my God, yeah, this guy can be a best center back in the world in the next 10 years. I don't think people are saying that. Good average player, decent career.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like, he's not destined for failure or anything. The only thing that will stop him even dropping down to overhyped would just be if he keeps on getting injured like this. Then you just know, yeah, now you're really gonna have to rely on your defending, and I'm not too confident on that part of his game, to be honest.
Yeah, he's very reliant on the speed, but still, I think he's a good defender. But I just don't think he will ever get to that world class level. Okay, let me just put that one there. Lamine Yamal, boom, Ballon d'Or winner. I think he is just destined for it. Now, the argument that people will say is, where's the GA? Where's all the goals? my guy is 17 years old. He dunked on France at the Euros, won the European Championship with Spain. Now, of course, he's got to perform still in the Champions League, but I will only criticize him when he gets to 20 years old. If he has a stinker in the Champions League, you can criticize him. The dude is 17 years old and is consistently balling out. Now, of course, he's going to have those games where he's not really finding it. He's not having the good dribbling moment that we've seen usually from Lamine. It's going to happen. I think for all of these players especially, but Lamine, 17 years old, the level he's showing, he's destined to win a Ballon d'Or, and he's destined to be an amazing player. I don't think I need much to say.
You said everything. I don't even want to say, because you already called me a simp about Barca, so I'm already conscious about
No, this one you can be.
Nah, listen, Lamine Yamal, the fact that at 16 years of age, Messi wasn't doing what he was doing. Now, I am nowhere near comparing him to Messi, because those are two different animals. But that's the player that everyone talks about him. He is, in my opinion, the black Messi. Like, when I look at someone like him, I'm like, you got to understand there's a difference between him and an Ansu Fati. And you can see the differences that Ansu Fati was really important at the time when he was bursting through. But there was a lot of hype because Messi was still there, all of that kind of stuff. You see with Lamine Yamal, there is no Messi. They've not had Messi for years. So to see a player like this at the age of 16 go to a Euros and do what he did against all of these guys, I said, yeah, this guy's a freak. But then the fact that he's come back this season and he's still dunking on everybody, I'm just like, the GA, I don't even care about the GA. Just watch him play. He's effective without GA. So listen, Lamine Yamal, Ballon d'Or, future winner. I can see it. Marloff, I can see that.
So you're saying that he's going to be better than, obviously he's now better than Ansu Fati was at his age. What do you think is the biggest difference between him and Ansu Fati? Like game-wise, what is it? Is it the dribbling? Is it how he involves himself in the game? Because I think for Ansu Fati, he was also really relying on his dribbling, and he obviously was a very good finisher. But once he got the injuries, you could just kind of see the athleticism went away for it. Do you think it's that Lamine doesn't rely on athleticism in his game? It's just pure footballing skill.
You could say that, but I also, if you remember the team that Ansu Fati was actually in comparison to the team that Lamine Yamal's in, you got to remember, the team that Yamal is in, they've got this heavy reliance, not just on him though. It's on him, Rafinha, Lewandowski. At the time, I used to when Ansu Fati was playing, there was a reliance on it. It's we need to make sure that this guy scores. We need to make sure that he's running in behind. We need to make sure it's at that age, I'm thinking not everybody can be Messi. Not everybody can just take the game and just be at the age of 16, 17, I can do everything. Lamine Yamal doesn't have to do everything. That's why Rafinha is probably more important to the team than Lamine Yamal at this current stage in time. If I'm watching Barca, he's the most important player. But you wouldn't have said that with Ansu Fati. He was the most important player in their team in terms of the attack at the time. And I just think that allows for Lamine Yamal to do exactly what they did with Messi, which was, yeah, you're the guy, and we know you're the guy, but we've got other ballers in the team. You're not the only
Ronaldinho, Eto'o.
Come on, look at the players that Messi had coming through. I'm not saying that these guys are on the same level, by the way, before anyone kills me, but he's got players like that in his team now, where he can at least say, oh, I've got Gavi, I've got Pedri, I've got De Jong, I've got Dani Olmo, I've got him, I've got Rafinha, I've got Lewandowski. I don't have to do everything. Ansu Fati was playing in a team that were, at that time, Barcelona were absolute bums at the time. So it was unfair on him, and he just got injured. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think this is actually a perfect setup for Lamine. If Lamine was in the situation that Ansu Fati was, yeah, there would be a heavy reliance, and then people could be like, hey, where's your GA? You got to get the goals. Exactly. And Barcelona keep collecting L's. But I think Lamine is in a perfect situation. And in 2 years to 3 years' time, now, obviously in the big games in the Champions League, it seems like he steps up because he stepped up in the Euros for Spain. So maybe we're going to see the same thing for him. Next player then is Nuno Mendes. I really like the player. I think Nuno Mendes is a quality defender. Also going forward is just elite. Do I feel like he could be a world-class level player? That's tough. Could I see him being like a Jordi Alba later in his career? To be honest, I could see that. I don't think he could be getting to like a Zanetti or Roberto Carlos sort of level player when I'm thinking of world-class left backs. I think he could be like a Jordi Alba for Nuno Mendes. Maybe for now I would put good to average. I'm kind of on the buffer between world-class and good and average with Nuno Mendes. Obviously, he's a player who's also suffered a lot from injuries, but when he plays, you just see the dude is talented.
Where would you rate Jordi Alba?
Like on all time?
Yeah, just like all time, not like right now, but like all time.
Oh, I don't think he's top 5 Jordi Alba for me, because I would have Marcelo over Jordi Alba.
Okay.
No, maybe like top 10 to top 15 all-time left backs. Maybe it was just because of the team he was playing in with Barcelona, because that team was elite. But I really like Jordi Alba. Even when he was at Valencia, I was like, no, this guy's a good player. And I feel like Nuno Mendes can have the same sort of career.
Okay. Then yeah, I agree with that. Then I think he can be a world-class left back though. Yeah. I think he can be world class. I just think
then we'll put him world class then.
Yeah, I think in terms of just being a left back, I think if we're looking at it now in the landscape of all left backs right now, I don't feel like there's that many that I look at and think, this guy's gonna be world class. I think he'll be the one. I think he'll be one of them.
Cool. Yep. Cool.
How old is Gordon?
I think he's 23. If I'm not mistaken,
okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's in the list. Yeah, he's 23. Actually, he will soon be 24, which is funny enough. It's a week until his birthday. But he's in the list, people. To be honest, I think he's overhyped. Or do you think he's just going to be a good average player for his career? Do you think he's going to have a career like... I'm trying to compare like for English wingers. I don't really like the player. I think he has some good moments into him. I don't think he's consistent enough. Now, maybe it could change in 2 to 3 years and he could be a good average player. I just think he gets overhyped because he's English. I'm going to be honest. That's just me.
I'll leave him there, but I am in between that and good and average. Like, remember, you got good and average. So,
yeah,
I feel like average is lower than good anyway. So, really, I think he's just going to be an average player, like, in the future. I don't feel like he'll get any higher than that. He'll have one season where you're like, oh, my God, like, remember Anthony Gordon? He'll just be one of those. So, yeah, you can keep him there. You can keep him. I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah. Do you like Anthony Gordon as a player?
I think he's okay. Like, I wouldn't want my team to sign him. Like, I'm not going to ask for him. But he's okay. I feel like he's got bits to his game. But I feel like Newcastle is probably the perfect club for you right now. Like, you're at the perfect club. Like, you don't need to move. Where would you go? Unless Arsenal were like, oh, we really want to sign a left winger. But then really, would they go for someone like him? Nah. Stay at Newcastle.
Do you think he would have gotten the same sort of hype if he went to Chelsea? Because I think he was a talented player at Everton. And obviously, a lot of clubs wanted to sign Gordon. But I just think he's going to be, a decent player. And I just see a lot of people like, oh, bring him to this club, bring him to that club. I'm like, okay, maybe he'll give you like 10 goals, 15 goals max for maybe 1 or 2 seasons, and that's it. Compared to other players on this list.
Yeah, I think if he went to Chelsea, that would have been... Newcastle, he can thrive over there because he can get a bit more of the ball and stuff. Chelsea, I feel like the way that they even play, I don't think that's conducive for him to even be allowed to do what he needs to do, which is transition kind of football, run in behind, run into space. Chelsea not really like that. More ball to feet than anything else in 1-2. So, yeah, stay at Newcastle. Just stay there. Like, you don't need to move, honestly. Stay there. You can have a good career. Like, honestly, you can have a good career.
Good career. João Neves, to be honest, bro, I think this guy is unbelievable. Why he doesn't get so much hype is beyond me. For being 20 years old and the way he can just dictate a midfield physically is unbelievable for how short he is. Elite on the ball, can get you goals, not afraid to take a shot from 30 yards out and it will still somehow go in because he's so good technically. I think this guy, give it 5 years, you're going to see top 3 midfielder in the world. He might be already top 10 in the world for how well he's playing for PSG, but he's only going to get better and better and better. Realize because it's PSG and people don't want to rate PSG. Oh, they spend so much money on a Benfica, youngster. Why are they spending so much money? João Neves is the truth, people. This guy is going to be a world-class level player.
Nah, bro, I haven't got anything to add. Like, I'm watching him. Like, I watched him in the Champions League the other day. Then I watched him when they played the other night. I was like, there's no way that he can be this good. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't be this good at this age, bro. It's ridiculous. You and Vitinha in the middle of the park, like, it's almost unfair. It's almost unfair. So yeah, for me, he's already close to world class. Like, in terms of in his position, he will be world class. I think give him two more seasons. I think he'll already be there. He's already good, bro. Like, we don't need to. What else do we need to see? It's just about consistency. Can he just continue doing the same thing? Yeah, he can do that. He's all right.
Which player from the past would you compare to João Neves?
There isn't actually a player from the past. I actually think he's like Rodri. I think he's like Rodri now.
Wow.
Like, I think he's that type of player. That's why when
I think he's technically better than Rodri, like on the ball at least.
No. Yes. So I could say that in terms of maybe on the ball, but in terms of just the player, what they do, he's for me just like a Rodri, which is someone who can just pick up the ball in any area of the pitch and drive with the ball, but also understand that I don't need to always drive. Sometimes it might just be a pop round the corner. It might just be to keep it safe. It might just be to bring the ball forward. It might just be to relieve the left back or the full back or whatever. Rodri does that. Rodri can break up play. He does that as well. Do you know what I mean? Yes, he might be technically, yes, like better, but I feel like they're the same player. That's why when you said it, I was like, technically, I could see him winning a Ballon d'Or in a season that the attackers don't do well. Then it will have to go to someone else. Like when Rodri won the Ballon d'Or, you were like, yeah, maybe because there weren't that many attackers out there that probably did as well. So it made sense Rodri was going to win it kind of thing. But listen, man, he's talented. He's so talented.
He's so talented. What about then Camavinga?
World class.
Really?
100%, bro. Well, you don't think Camavinga is world class? Like he hasn't got world class talent. Sorry, let me not say he's not world class now, but world class talent. Okay,
because your argument for other players was injuries. Doesn't Camavinga get a lot of injuries? But I will say when this guy plays, you can play him in the 8, the 6. I think he's so good on the ball, able to drive with the ball. I think he's a really, really good player. World-class level. Who would you take? You would probably, I was going to ask, would you take Gavi or Camavinga? But I know you're going to say Gavi because you're a Barcelona simp. But what makes Camavinga such a good player for you?
It's the versatility, bro. Like, and he's good in every position, comfortable in possession. He knows when to turn out when he needs to turn out. He knows when to drive. He's a good, I wouldn't say good, he's like a decent tackler, but he's good at interceptions, something that I have noticed from him quite a lot. But what I think is the best thing about him, though, is he just seems to read the game pretty well, though. Like, he will just eat up space if he needs to eat up the space. He seems to always get himself back into positions to, stop counterattacks or to stop an attack. And obviously he's at Real Madrid, so he's learned the dark arts of the game. And I've seen him in some games be a little bit over the line in certain
moments. A little bit rash.
Yeah, and I'm like, why did you do that? But then I think to myself, yeah, at Real Madrid, like they probably say, yeah, we need you to, just put a tackle in there and, potentially do this, that, and the third. But he's getting smarter as it goes along. And I think that just like the rest of these guys in the world-class level, they're not there. They're not world-class today. But I think give them 2-3 years, these guys will be, world-class.
I think he just needs to be a consistent starter. I think Carlo needs to trust him more. I think that's what Camavinga needs. He just needs game time. He just needs to really solidify a spot. Are you going to be a 6 or are you going to be an 8? For me, he's an 8. So then in the future, Madrid could be like, okay, we'll play Valverde in the 6, Camavinga in the 8, and then Bellingham in the 10. And then I don't know what happens.
What about Tchouaméni? Like you just.
I know that's what I'm saying. Look, Valverde over Tchouaméni. That's what I'm saying right now. But yeah, Camavinga. I think he has a lot of good attributes to his game. I just haven't seen consistent enough. Remember when Real Madrid won the Champions League in 2022? Impact sub all the time. Camavinga impact sub. What about as starter-wise? Is he going to be that same sort of player? I think I need to just see more. But yeah, world-class level talent-wise, I think he's definitely up there. This is a player who was always going to be like an Instagram player. Was Xavi Simons. Always going to be an Instagram player. Oh, this guy's just Instagram. I remember when I was talking about Xavi Simons like 2 years ago, all these Barcelona fans in my comment section, oh, Michael, why are you hyping him up so much? I don't think he's going to be a world-class player. I think he's just going to be a good average player. Or do you think he's overhyped? What do you think for Xavi?
He is borderline overhyped. I will say that.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, no. Hear me out. Hear me out. I think he's a good player. But I just don't think he's going to go further than like an RB Leipzig. Like I almost feel like he's at the club right now that this is probably as good as it will probably get for you. Like, I don't see, you're not going to make a jump up to a higher, better club than this. Not no Bayern Munich, maybe you can go back to PSG, but I don't even think you don't start in their midfield. No way. Like, who do you start over? Liverpool.
I think, Arsenal, do you know where I think he could go? I think he could go to Milan. And I think he would really thrive in Milan.
Okay, play where?
In the cam. That's what he is, at number 10. And he's very good at it. He's not really like a creator, I would say, Xavi Simons. Oh, maybe he is, because he finds those little, those eloquent passes over the top, where if it's in and around the box, Xavi Simons can find that pass. But he's not going to be like somebody, all right, 30-yard pass out wide to the winger on the right. That's not Xavi Simons' game. Also, very good driving with the ball. Dribbling is very good. Maybe could add some more goals, but we did see he scored a goal also against England at the Euro. So he definitely has that goal element. Now, some people could say he's overhyped because, he had that sort of Instagram fame as a youngster, and everybody was like, this guy, he's going to be nothing. But I think he's done very well so far in his career, and I think he's in a good trajectory. Do I see like a world-class player? Not quite. No. I think he's going to have a decent career, and hey, that's still pretty good, though.
No. Listen. Even who's that? Even Levi Colwill, that's a decent career. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're just talking about like the level of these players, I just think that for the level that we thought he was going to be, Instagram hype, as Mike said, you're not there yet. And if I'm being honest with you, you've almost stalled at a point now where I'm like, your next move, and this is where I'm giving him a blight. Your next season. You cannot be at RB Leipzig. Like, you actually can't. Like, you actually.
Well, he's going to be. They paid 70 million for him now, or 50 million.
But this is my point. It's like, if you're at RB Leipzig, and obviously now clearly you're gonna have to stay there, right? If he stays here, they have to win the league or something. Like, I don't know how else I can even really judge him as a player, because I'm like, yeah, but remember, you there's certain teams in the world you can only be as good as that team, if that makes sense. Like. RB Leipzig are RB Leipzig. They're a good team in Europe in a general sense. You can only really be as good. We've seen Dani Olmo only be as good, but now when we look at him, you think, fucking hell, Dani Olmo, like, he's probably looks like his game has almost gone up. Szoboszlai, probably even still the same level as he was at RB Leipzig. Is there another level? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. Other players there you're looking at and you're thinking, you can only be as good as this. You need to move to get better. And I just think that he's not going to get any better than what he is currently. So average. I think he'll just be average.
Average? All right. We'll stick with that. Savinho, very eye-catching on the eye. You could say he's like an OnlyFans model. But does he always sort of deliver it consistently? I love Savinho, bro. What I saw from him at Girona, I thought this guy's going to be a baller. Now, obviously, he's been having a difficult season so far with Manchester City because people want to see him get 10 goals and 15 assists this season. There is so much quality with him, though, bro. When you watch him play, you can just see samba. You see caipirinha. You just see Rio de Janeiro, the streets football in Savinho. Now, could he get to that world-class level? Maybe for like a season, 2 seasons. Do I see it consistently for him? I think he's going to be one of those players like streets won't forget player. Maybe. Or am I being harsh? Is that like, when you think of streets won't forget player, is that like somebody who had all the time, but never... Okay, maybe not like that. No, maybe.
Like players who are ballers, but we just, bro, like you never did it really long enough for us to even care like that.
Okay, no. I don't think Savinho is like that. I think Savinho will have a better career than the other Taraps, than the Hatim Ben Arfas, and those sort of guys. Exactly. But I think the guy's quality. Would I put him right now that he could reach that world-class level?
No.
Maybe not. I just see one great season at Girona. Needs to just do it consistently more at Manchester City. But I think he could get on the verge of world-class.
Then you can put him in that category, like good average player. Then, like, you could just leave him there for the time being. I can agree with that. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
Okay, you're gonna have to go with this one because I love Athletic Club. I almost watch them on a weekly basis, so I'm gonna save my thoughts. But I want to hear your thoughts about Nico Williams.
I think Nico Williams, I've only seen 2 games actually of him for Atletico this season. Or Athletic, should I say. From what I know of him and from what I've seen, I will just say I'm going to put you in the... You're like borderline world-class talent, like you could get there. You're borderline.
What? Oh, I wasn't expecting this. Okay.
Yeah, no. I would say he's borderline. I think he has got the attributes to become that type of individual. Again, unfortunate club bias will come into it because I don't remember any player really. Xavi Martinez, maybe old school, kind of thing, players of that kind of ilk. I just think that you just need to move really to a better team. And I think once you go to a better team and you're providing a little bit more, then I feel like you'll just get looked at in today's day and age as a world-class talent. In today's day and age, not in what my thoughts were of what that was years ago. Today's day and age, he could easily be that. And I think he can provide you goals and assists. He is a threat. He can run in behind, likes the ball to feet. He is comfortable in possession, although his decision-making at times is a bit questionable. So I would put him in good average right now, but he could be borderline world-class talent. What do you think?
Wow. I'm actually shocked that you went that way, because most people, I think, maybe some consistent La Liga watchers would probably put here on overhyped.
First.
So,
hey, I don't want them enough. Maybe he is that.
This is the problem with Nico. Nico is very talented, but he can be a defender. Maybe he'll get the ball and he'll have 10 attempts dribbling, and maybe 50% he'll be successful with those take-ons. But then the decision making is terrible. I mean, it's so frustrating because you see such a good player, but it's just over and over again. It's just the wrong decision after wrong decision. Now, maybe he could go to another club and maybe then figure it out. But I would expect now, you're 22, 23 years old. You had a very good Euros campaign with Spain. You scored in the final against England. Take the next step. Now he's got 1 goal, 4 assists this season in La Liga. 1 goal all season. So that's not good enough. I was expecting for Nico, okay, get 10 goals this season. He's never reached 10 goals in his career so far. And I don't expect, every winger to get 15 goals, 20 goals like it's Salah. No, I don't expect that. But Nico, you got to provide something. You got to have the right decision-making. Some people would say overhyped. I think for the rest of his career, I think he's going to have a decent career, to be honest. Maybe some people will say overhyped. Let me know your thoughts, people. But Nico's an interesting one because I think people were so kind of gaslit about the Euros because nobody watches Athletic Club, and I can understand that for some people, but they play really good football. But he had a really good campaign last year in the Copa del Rey to the La Liga. I was just expecting a better jump, and I just hope it doesn't stall now. Okay, you're just going to be a player at Athletic Club for the rest of your career, but you're going to always just what if you make that move to a Premier League club or to Barcelona? That's going to be the situation. But talent-wise, he's there, but
you know what's mad
need to see more.
Athletic? They're having a good season this season. They're only 3 points off of Barca anyway. So obviously Barca have that game in hand, obviously coming up against Rayo Vallecano, but they're not even having a bad season. So you would expect him to be having a great season, if that makes sense. Yeah. As opposed to, hey, sometimes it just doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out like that. Okay, Florian Wirtz. You know what, G? He might be my favorite player in the world right now. I can't lie. I think this guy's unbelievable. And I hope obviously, some neutrals will not watch Bayer Leverkusen every week. I think I would pay a ticket every week to watch this guy. I think he's just box office. He might not get goals and assists, but you just watch a player. To me, I think he's just Kaká. I think he's just so good in the tight spaces, can just beat him. Every game, I think he does 2 or 3 nutmegs on a player. Every single game. Now, some people watched the Bayern Munich clash and said, oh, he should have scored at the end. Yeah, he should have scored at the end, but I mean, he was dunking on some players during that game. I think Florian Wirtz, for his career, when he got that ACL, I was like, damn. At a young age, career is going to be over like that. Maybe he'll be a good to average player. But bro, since that ACL injury, it's like he's gotten to another level with his playing style. And it's just going to be, I think he's going to be an unbelievable player in 5 to 10 years. I'm really intrigued to see where he goes next. But just talent-wise, for me, he's Ballon d'Or winner-esque.
Yeah. I heard the reports today about Manchester City, so that could be an interesting one, whether they can pay the money or not. You just spoke about goals and assists. The guy's got 15 goals and 12 assists this season anyway. So the reality is he's providing the GA for the GA guys. He's got the aesthetics for the aesthetic guys, and he's playing well, genuinely. So listen, man, everything you said, Florian Wirtz, absolute baller. And I think, he's on the level, I think, of the Lamine Yamals and Jude Bellingham's, where in a few years, maybe Jude Bellingham was a bit further along in the development, but he's definitely up there, with all of that.
I think Florian Wirtz can go toe-to-toe with Bellingham in that development aspect.
The reason, again, why I say that isn't, okay, maybe not talent-wise, because talent-wise, I feel like he's even better. I mean more because Bellingham plays for Real Madrid, so he's got more of an opportunity
Yeah.
to be a Ballon d'Or winner, as opposed to Wirtz is obviously at Bayer Leverkusen, unless they,
He's
obviously
got the
do their
PR.
thing. Yes, he's got the PR. He's got the PR.
Gotcha. He's got the PR. But I love Florian Wirtz.
Yeah.
If people could just watch him. Just watch him, people. He's just so good. So good. Pedri also. I mean, I think this guy is also destined for greatness. I think he's going to be Ballon d'Or. Maybe not a Ballon d'Or winner, but he could be top 3 Ballon d'Or contender. I think he's just going to be... Also, another player who dealt with so many injuries. That one year where he played like 75 games. Spain and Barcelona tried to destroy the kid. And I think this season and the end of last season, you're just seeing the real Pedri showing out. And right now, I think he's going to just keep getting better and better. And it's going to be a Barcelona great. And yeah, he's going to etch his name into the Iniesta and Xavi's. I'm not saying he's at that level right now, people, but with this play and just his style of play, I just think he could just be an unbelievable footballer, even when he's at 35 years old, because he doesn't rely on athleticism. It's all about the technical skill, the final passes into the box, his creativeness, and he's even getting some goals this season. Pedri is a wonderful midfielder.
What more can I say? I can't. If I say it, it sounds like, you know what I mean? I'm glazing over he is a top player. Like, he is literally at that level where I'm like, fucking hell. Do you guys even remember when he was playing for Spain and obviously coming off that season with Barcelona, and everybody was focused on like, how many minutes is this guy playing? Do you know why he was playing? It's because he's that good. Like, they had to play him, and you almost just felt like, you know what? They probably looked at it as just one more game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he then broke down, and obviously we know what happened. But top player.
What do you think about Bradley Barcola?
I think he's better than Nico Williams. I'll tell you that much.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Barcola is amazing. I think he is such a good player. Like, he's just direct. Like, he's just so direct with it, and he plays the game at this kind of nonchalant kind of way that he plays. I don't know if it's just him, I don't know him, but if it's just him as an individual, but he's quick. He's so fucking fast. It is ridiculous. Good dribble of the ball, can finish. I felt like it was a bit weird that they obviously signed Kvaratskhelia at the time, because I was like, well, what do you do with Barcola then? Because he's performing well, and you're just going to stall his development for a player who demands to play all the time. So I would love to see how he's going to play with those 3-4 up front, where Gonzalo as well, and Doué as well, Dembele. But Barcola, I think he can get to world-class level. But like Olise, I just don't know if that will happen. I really don't. So just consistency.
So you think he'll be another player where he has like 1 or 2 seasons of world class, but just not always going to be consistent?
Yeah. But he'll be good. Like he won't be a streets won't forget. He'll be like, no, he was a ball. Like, he was good. Like, he was a part of teams that were winning, and he was really good player. But you're not going to be like, oh, but he was world class. Like, you won't. I don't think you'll look at him like that. I think there'll be other players who are actually still coming up who you might be like, that's world class still.
That's world class. Gotcha.
Good.
You know what, G? I thought he was going to be a really good player, Rasmus Højlund, from what I saw at Atalanta. I don't know if it's just Manchester United or what it is, but it's almost like he's lost. It's like all the footballing ability has been sucked out of him. All of the superpowers, like his Space Jam, it's just been sucked out of him. I don't know what's happened to him. Maybe has he always just been this trash? Has he always just been just not a good footballer? Like, is he just destined to fail? Rasmus Højlund? Is he going to be a player like an Andy Carroll, basically? Andy Carroll made the big money move to Liverpool, and everybody thought, oh my God, yeah, Liverpool paid big money for him. He's going to be an unbelievable striker. And then since then, okay, he had a decent stint at West Ham, but after that, didn't really work out for him. Do you think it's going to be that sort of career for Rasmus Højlund? Do you think he can bounce back, or is he overhyped, destined for failure? Because I think now it's going to be one of the two of the bottom. I just want to hear your thoughts. Because I might have been wrong about this guy. I can't lie, people.
I'm going to go for overhyped. Now. Just for now, we're going to go overhyped because he's still early enough in his career. And Manchester United is the worst place in football right now to go to. It is the worst. If you're a young player, do not go to Manchester United. There's no point. You ain't thriving in that environment. The club is like they've got a disease in there that it's just not going to work. So any young player going there who at the time Rasmus was a young player, well still is, but he was a young player that everyone thought, you know what, he could really go on to do big things. If he had stayed at Atalanta, he probably would be doing bigger things now. And that's the difference. You've moved to a bigger club, but that club is absolutely horrible for your development. So for me, I think overhyped for now. But if we did this list next year and if he's still on there, then yeah, he will be destined for failure if it continues like this.
Sucks, man. You know what? And you know what's happening to him? The pecking order in the Danish national team?
Yeah.
It's falling. He was certified to be number 1 for the next 5 years. He might be number 2 now because there's a player on Monaco who's killing it as a Dane. Oh my God, it's bad. It's looking bad for Rasmus Højlund. I feel bad for him. Nico Jackson, this is an interesting one. I feel like he's just going to be a good average player. I just don't think he can ever get to that world-class level. I think there's just such high expectations at Chelsea that you're the starting striker. But always at Chelsea, they've had the Diego Costa, they've had obviously Drogba in this century, of course. I just don't think Nico will ever get to that level. I think he could be a good average player, but maybe Chelsea fans were expecting more from him. That's possible. I think he has a lot of good attributes, very comfortable on the ball, can definitely improve on his finishing. I just don't think he's a clinical enough striker, but I think he'll have a decent career. Will he be at Chelsea for the next 3 years? I don't think so. I feel like he's going to get a move. Maybe Chelsea will go for someone better. Who knows? But I think, yeah, decent career for Nico Jackson.
Yeah, same. I think like in 2 seasons when Ollie Watkins leaves Aston Villa, he'll go there, and then Chelsea will just go and sign like a way better strike, like just a better striker at the time. And I think that will be a decent career for him because he will just go there and almost be like a Benteke type of player, where he'll score goals. Maybe he might not always be top goal scorer kind of thing, but he'll score enough goals for Villa, if that makes sense. So yeah, can't blame.
Why don't you think he can get to that world-class level? Do you think it's just not being a clinical enough striker?
Yeah, I don't look at him now. He doesn't give me confidence that he's that type of player yet. Obviously, I don't know what the future looks like, but now when I watch him, I'm like, yeah, you don't have the natural instincts, in my personal opinion, of a just natural striker that even certain players like Harry Kane, for example, right? Even though he was on loan at Norwich, on loan at Leicester, he always had natural instincts anyway. So it was always about, as long as we can potentially get you in situations for you to score, you will score. And then what happened? Pochettino, him, the rest is history, right? But when he was at Leicester and Norwich City, for those who forget, he looked rubbish. Like you did not know that this player was going to turn into the Harry Kane that we know of today. You wouldn't have thought that because he wasn't scoring goals like that. Scored a few here, but you could see, yes, he can finish though. And he looks confident when he does finish. It's just, he's not getting the opportunity to finish. Jackson doesn't even look confident when he does score. I'm like, yeah, you're not really that guy to me, to be honest.
Gotcha. What about Jeremy Doku?
Oh, Jesus. Good average.
Good average? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got, I don't know.
I don't think he's going to be like a world-class player. I feel like he's going to have a similar career to another Belgian, like a Trossard.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I just don't think he's going to be at Man City for a while. There's a reason why they went to get Omar Marmoush. If they were so confident on Doku being that guy for the next 5 years, they would have not signed Marmoush.
Yeah.
So I think for Doku, his career is looking a little bit up in the air, but I think he's got the talent level. Now, if he wasn't maybe in a better situation, he could. No, I just don't think he has all the attributes to be a world-class player. But he'll be a player where we look when we were like 50 years old, 60 years old, and me and G have gray hair. We're gonna be like, hey, Jeremy Doku, that guy was a pretty decent player. Very silky on the ball, but just could never get to that world-class level.
Yeah, like we wouldn't disrespect him in 50 years' time. We'd be like, yeah, that was all right. Like, he was pretty decent. Yeah. But yeah, he'll just be one of those, like, yeah, he was okay. But he'll be in and amongst like 20 other wingers who we're looking at thinking, nah, but this guy was like of another level still.
Yep. Where would you put Jamal?
Put him right next to Florian Wirtz. Put him right there. I
know he's your favorite player.
Yeah, but I'm biased though, so I'm gonna say that, right? Like he's my favorite player. But I do, if you just watch him, I think what separates him between like other players on this list, right? I've seen him play in the 6, striker, left wing, right wing, attacking midfield, and central midfield. And in all those positions, he's just been calm. Like, he's either been really good or just good. Like, it's not even like I've looked at him and thought when he was playing in like the double pivot position and thinking, oh God, this guy looks so out of his depth. He looked absolutely fine there. He even looked like that could be a position for him in the future when he gets a bit older and he's lost maybe a bit of athleticism. He could play there because he knows and he can read the game. Like, he's honestly, man, his IQ is ridiculous, man. I don't think people deep how good he actually is in certain areas of the pitch. And for me, I just think he'll be like Pedri. I don't think he'll ever win it, but he could be like a Pedri where top 3, like maybe even second one random year kind of thing, that kind of vibe.
Yeah, no, I don't need to say much. Jamal G is the head president of the Jamal Musiala fan club, people. So if you want to get your Jamal Musiala prop, go to GTV on YouTube for sure. Leny Yoro. I think Yoro is in a difficult situation. I think he's right now, you could say average player. I think at Lille, he was really good. Like, you just see a young center back just dominating. So just every attribute, he was so good. But right now, obviously, it's just the situation in Manchester United. Could he still get to world-class level? Possibly. He could get to like a Saliba level, maybe when he's 22, because people got to remember, Yoro is only 18 years old. I mean, the guy is 18 years old, making a move to Manchester United. It was just terrible from his agents. Why are you letting him go to, even to Real Madrid? I don't think that was the move either. Just stay at Lille and develop. You have to get game time as a young center back, especially. I just think right now he's going to be a good average player, but his career is almost up in the air already, even at 18, because just at the club he's at. That's just the sad part, really.
He's lucky. Like some of these guys are kind of lucky that they're so young. Like, you've got enough time to change this around. Some of these guys are 23. So you're like, ooh, you're already 23. Like, your career's already like, we're already heading into that kind of stage, right? But he's lucky. He's so young that even if he spent another 2 seasons at United and he looked shit, it won't matter because he'll only be 20. And then he'd still be on this under 23s list. And we can still talk about him for the next 3 years, being good somewhere else. So yeah, you can leave him there and then we'll see how he goes.
But one thing I will say, people can watch his performances so far from Manchester United and people would say overhyped. Wouldn't you agree to that? Because he has not looked good. Let's be honest. He has not looked good.
But do you think he's looked bad though?
Or I don't think he's looked. He's looked bad in a couple of appearances, but I wouldn't say like, oh my God, that was a great performance from Leny Yoro.
Okay.
You haven't been able to say that yet, have you?
Yeah, no. I agree. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, over.
All right.
Yeah.
What about Saka? I love Saka. I think he's an unbelievable footballer. You put him on Real Madrid, you put him on Barcelona, he can flourish no matter what. People would just want to say, oh, he's a system player. No, he's not. He's not a system player. This guy can flourish in any sort of style of football that a manager wants his team to play. And I think he can beat a man. Left foot is unbelievable. Even decent on his right foot. Has shown up in big moments like for England against Switzerland in the Euros. I think Saka is that guy. Now, obviously dealing with an injury. Could he be a sort of top 3 candidate for a Ballon d'Or? To be honest, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
I could see him have like a same sort of career as a Robin. Robin didn't remember people. Robin before 25 wasn't the same Robin. He was obviously dealing with injuries and he couldn't find consistent game time at Real Madrid or at Chelsea. Then he obviously went to Bayern and then turned into a monster. I think Saka, he's been played so much, and that's the reason why he got the hamstring injury. But even in all those games, he has shown you this guy has the world class. I think it's either world class or Ballon d'Or for Saka.
You could put him in Ballon d'Or. I think winning it, I don't know. It will more depend on the team that he's in. But being there, top 3, yes. Just like you said, Robin, Ribéry, that type of player where you're like, oh, this guy's like top 2 player in the world right now, like in whatever season it is kind of thing. So yeah, no, I can see him as a Ballon d'Or win 100%. Like, I can see him in that podium. I
think he gets a lot of hate because he's at Arsenal.
Yeah, but Arsenal, they bring that to themselves.
They do. But I think Saka is the exception for me. I think he's just an unbelievable footballer. I would pay money to watch him. Sometimes I feel like he's hampered by Arteta's tactics in a way where, Arteta wants to play it safe and rotate the ball from left to right, left to right. But Saka's just a direct player. You give him the ball and he wants to be direct. But sometimes I feel like the manager gives him different instructions, and Saka kind of listens to it. I think Saka's got to be a bit more brave for the rest of his career, and he can get to that. I just think he's got a Ballon d'Or contender talent level. Joško Gvardiol. Into this.
World-class talent. And I think that... No, I won't say... I don't know. I don't really think Ballon d'Or like that. I feel like... I feel like world-class talent, though. I look at him and I think to myself, you know what, actually? If this guy just continues what he's doing... I feel like, you just look at him and think this guy's a world-class player. Because I feel like if he played for like Barcelona and was doing what he was doing, or Real Madrid and doing what he was doing, we'd look at him differently, kind of thing. I almost feel like City, there's almost like a City tax with it because it's Pep Guardiola and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's something weird about Guardiola. I feel like people don't rate him highly. And I'm like, bro, the guy is, I feel like he's a phenomenal fullback. Yes, if you're asking me, like, in terms of just being a defender, he can look a bit shaky sometimes. I will agree. But everything else about his game is really, really good. Like, he's good going forward. For some weird reason, he's turned into this right foot specialist. I don't even know when that happened, but he just turned into that kind of guy. He seems to play as like a forward now as well. Seems super intelligent, reads the game well. Like, I think he's calm. There's just moments of lapses of concentration that he has at times. That's it. But all in all,
he's young still.
Yeah, exactly.
What player from the past would you really compare with Gvardiol? I think that's a really good question. Because to me, because he could play center back and left back, I think he's a Zanetti.
That's the third. Is either him or I was thinking, because Zanetti could play DM as well. To be fair,
he could play DM. I wouldn't be shocked if Gvardiol can play DM. I think he's a really good player. Maybe he doesn't have like elite passing, maybe compared to Zanetti, because Zanetti's passing was ridiculous. But Gvardiol, man, I think he's a beast of defender. Yeah, okay, he's gonna have those. Obviously, some defenders, they're gonna get destroyed on one day. It happens. Not every defender in the history of football was locked in every single game. There was some times where Maldini didn't have a great game, or Beckenbauer didn't have a great game, or Rio Ferdinand or John Terry, even Virgil. So it's gonna happen. But Gvardiol, I think, for how young he is, elite. Yeah. And then the final player is Cole Palmer. Is it world class? Yeah. I don't mind putting him in that. I think he's above that kind of good to average level. And he is showing it, to be fair, that, you know what, this guy is actually a bit of a baller. Ballon d'Or level, I don't feel like he's on the level of those guys at the top that we've got there. I think they've all got something a bit more special about them. But who knows, man? Like, anything can happen. So, right now, I'll put him in world class. Like, could become a world class player still. The day I saw Cole Palmer go into the world class level was when he scored that final goal against Spain in the Euro final. I was like, oh no, you show up in those big moments where you don't need to have it's a great team goal. No, it's just an individual goal by Cole Palmer. And obviously he showed it at Chelsea, but I was like, okay, cool. You showed it for Chelsea in the Premier League against Everton where you scored 4 goals. I think we just got to see it maybe in the Champions League more often. Yeah. I think that's where we got to see it for Cole Palmer, but no doubt the guy has got world-class level ability. But crazy, we only have 3 players on the overhyped and 1 player for destined for failure. We have a lot of players in the good to average, but we have a lot of players at the world-class and Ballon d'Or level people. So, to me, that says we got a bright future in football. I don't know what you think.
No, we do. And we got to remember as well, like, a lot of these, in today's day and age, listen, I might cuss today's day and age, but in fairness, if I think about it, there's a lot more youngsters now at a higher level than they were back in the days when I used to, like, in the late 90s, early 2000s. Back then, your favorite players weren't this good at this age. Like, they weren't seen as this good. Like, Iniesta wasn't like the Iniesta that we know. He was good, but just not of maybe a Gavi and Pedri level at this age. It was until we got a little bit older, then you're like, they turned into just these beast of players. And it's like that for a lot of these guys. So I have to give credit to the youngsters. I do have to rate them, quite highly, for what they're doing right now. But can they remain consistent? That's it, man.
That's the thing, people. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Where would you rank Saka? Where would you rank Palmer? Where would you rank João Neves? Where would you rank Xavi Simons? is Levi Colwill destined for failure? I feel harsh saying that, but he's the only player in that section. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to subscribe to G's channel. His links will be in the description down below. And have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, people. Adios.